All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty interesting and probably pretty relevant to a lot of our listeners out there.
Ooh, okay. I'm listening.
It's all about dating.
Okay.
Specifically, how men can, kind of level up their skills when it comes to interacting with women.
All right, so we're getting into the male-female dynamic.
We are, and our guide for this deep dive is How to Talk to Women by Ron Louie.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at excerpts from this book and, definitely dives into some pretty specific techniques.
I'm intrigued already.
Yeah, one of the first things that really caught my eye was this flat tire analogy.
A flat tire analogy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, imagine you're trying to drive a car with a flat tire.
Right. Well, you're not going to get very far.
You're not going to get very far at all. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Yeah.
And the book argues that a lot of guys, they're out there in the dating world trying to, make connections, but they're neglecting these basic skills, these fundamental things.
It's like trying to win a race with that flat tire.
Exactly.
You're setting yourself up for failure from the start.
So what are some of those dating flat tires we should be aware of?
Well, one that the book tackles right away is, that fear of approaching women.
Oh, yeah.
You see someone you're attracted to and you just freeze up.
Oh, absolutely. I know that feeling.
It's like that fight or flight response kicks in and your brain just short circuits.
It does. It's like saying hi suddenly feels like climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah.
The
book calls this approach anxiety, and it seems like it's something that a lot of men struggle with.
So how do we overcome that approach anxiety? Because I think that's something a lot of people can relate to.
Well, the book suggests a program.
A program?
A high program.
Oh?
Yeah.
I've got to admit, when I first read about this, I was a little skeptical.
The high program.
Yeah, really just saying hi, is that going to solve all my dating problems?
Right. It sounds almost deceptively simple.
It does, but when you think about it, there's actually a lot of psychology behind it.
Yeah.
What's the real value of just going out there and saying hi to women?
It's about rewiring those ingrained responses.
Yeah.
We're so conditioned to avoid rejection that we often don't even allow ourselves to take that first step.
Right.
So this program, this high program, it forces you to break that pattern.
So it's not really about the high itself.
Right.
It's about the action.
It's about building the habit of taking action.
Even if it's scary.
Even if it's terrifying. Exactly.
I can see how that would be really empowering over time. Each high, even if it doesn't lead to anything, it's like a mini victory.
Yeah, it's like exposure therapy for your social life.
Exactly.
You're slowly desensitizing yourself to that fear of rejection.
And the book actually emphasizes celebrating those small wins.
Right.
Each successful high is like a step towards building your confidence.
Absolutely. And rewiring those neural pathways.
So it really is about mindset.
A lot of it is.
Yeah, which is fascinating. And the book also talks about how men often misinterpret situations.
Especially when it comes to rejection.
Yes, like that story about the guy who thought the woman was blowing him off, but she actually just couldn't hear him properly.
Right. It was a miscommunication.
So total miscommunication.
Yeah.
And he totally took it personally.
It's so easy to project our own insecurities onto others. We assume the worst.
Especially in those dating situations.
That's especially then.
And this is where the book introduces that 3-step process for handling rejection,
Yeah.
which is a really valuable tool.
Can you remind us what those steps are?
Well, the first step is reminding yourself that it's a numbers game.
Right.
Not every interaction is going to lead to a date or a relationship.
It's about probability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The second step is coming up with an explanation that doesn't blame yourself.
Right. Because it's so easy to internalize rejection.
And the third step is redirecting your attention to something positive.
So you're not dwelling on that one negative experience.
Shifting your focus.
Exactly.
And what I find so interesting about these steps is it's not just about dating.
It's about life.
It's about developing resilience in all areas of life.
You're building those mental muscles.
You are.
That can help you navigate any challenge.
Yeah, instead of getting hung up on every no,
yeah,
you start to see rejection as valuable feedback.
You learn, you adapt, you move on.
And speaking of moving on,
right,
the book then dives into this idea that men often subconsciously reduce their energy
and presence
to avoid risk.
It's like they're trying to become invisible so they don't get rejected.
Right? But the irony is that often makes them less attractive.
It does.
Women are drawn to men who project confidence
and vitality.
that energy.
It's about owning your space.
Radiating that self-assurance.
So how do we actually project that confidence? Because I think a lot of guys struggle with that.
Right.
Like, what are some tangible things we can do?
Well, the book offers some pretty specific tips. It talks about developing a sense of urgency in your actions.
Standing tall, maintaining eye contact, even using vocal variety when you speak.
So it's about being present in your body,
It's about embodying that confidence,
not just thinking about it.
right? Action speaks louder than words.
I like that.
Yeah.
And it's not about arrogance either.
No, it's not about being cocky,
It's about authenticity.
right?
It's about being genuine,
It's about allowing your true self to shine through.
which is incredibly attractive.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to the next big idea
Yeah.
from the book,
Okay.
which is using curiosity
To connect.
to connect with women and deepening those conversations.
Curiosity is such a powerful tool for building relationships.
It shows you're genuinely interested in the other person.
Yeah.
And it allows the conversation to unfold organically.
You're not trying to control it.
You're not trying to dominate it.
Right. You're creating a space for genuine connection.
I like that.
Yeah.
And the book gives some really concrete examples, like instead of asking, do you like art?
Which is a closed question.
Right.
A yes or no.
You could ask.
What kind of art moves you?
Exactly.
And that opens up a whole world of possibilities
Super.
for a deeper conversation.
It takes you beyond that superficial small talk
Exactly.
and allows you to really connect with what she's passionate about.
What makes her tick?
Exactly. And the book emphasizes the importance of listening actively and making her feel heard.
Right. Because it's not just about asking the question.
It's about that genuine exchange
It's about really listening to her responses.
and responding authentically.
Showing her that you value what she has to say.
It's about treating her like the fascinating individual she is.
Not just another conquest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is where the book introduces this really interesting technique called
What's the story behind that?
yes.
Okay, I like that.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
So it's all about observation
Okay.
and genuine curiosity.
So you notice something unique about her.
You notice something that stands out, something that sparks your interest.
Like a piece of jewelry or a tattoo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you ask her about it with genuine interest.
Okay.
What's the story behind that?
That's a great way to bypass that awkward small talk.
It gets you right into something more personal.
It shows her that you're paying attention to the detail.
You're present. You're
Yeah.
engaged.
And that you're genuinely interested in learning more about her.
And it's so versatile you can use it in almost any situation.
Right.
It's a great conversation starter.
And the book emphasizes that it's not just about asking the question. It's about actively listening to her response.
Yeah.
Engaging with what she's saying.
And building on that.
Showing her that you're present
That's where the real magic happens.
in that space of genuine connection.
Yeah.
But we can't forget about the importance of having fun,
Of course not.
right?
Dating should be fun.
It should be
Yeah.
injecting some humor into those interactions.
Absolutely.
The book calls this,
Situational flirting.
yes,
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more. So basically you find something in the environment and you ask a question based on like a creative misinterpretation of it.
a humorous misinterpretation.
A humorous misinterpretation.
Okay.
The key is to be playful,
Lighthearted.
not taking yourself too seriously.
It's about finding the humor in the everyday.
I love that example from the book about the guy in the bookstore.
Tell me about it.
He sees this woman wearing headphones
Okay.
and he asks her totally deadpan,
What does he say?
can you launch the space shuttle with those?
I love it.
It's brilliant.
It's unexpected. It's playful.
It's unexpected. It's playful.
And it creates that instant connection.
Through shared laughter.
Yeah. Humor is such a powerful bonding agent.
It is. It breaks down those barriers.
And it allows you to connect on a more lighthearted level.
It takes the pressure off.
Exactly.
So it's all about creating that space where you can both relax, have fun.
Let your guard down a little.
Yeah, and I think that's a great place to pause for now. We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive,
We have.
but there's so much more to explore.
I'm ready for more.
In the next segment, we'll delve into those romantic questions
Oh, yes.
and how they can be used to create a sense of emotional intimacy and spark that romantic spark.
I can't wait to dive deeper into those.
Let's do it.
All right.
Stay tuned.
So are we ready to unpack these romantic questions?
Let's do it. I'm really curious about these.
Yeah, they seem like a way to kind of shift the energy of a conversation in a very intentional way.
Yeah, you're going beyond those typical, getting to know you questions.
Right.
And you're diving into deeper emotional territory.
And the book gives specific examples, which I appreciate.
Yes.
It's not just vague advice.
Right.
It's practical, actionable stuff.
Exactly like it suggests, asking what makes your heart flutter.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is,
Yeah.
but you can't just blurt that out,
Right. Especially early on.
especially early on.
Yeah, it might come across as a little intense.
Look, too much too soon. So the book provides this whole script for asking it.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah, you start with an excuse. Like, I was thinking the other day about how amazing it is to be moved to the point where your heart flutters.
Okay, so you're setting the stage.
You're setting the stage.
You're creating a context for the question.
Exactly. And then you paint this vivid description,
Ooh, I like it.
maybe talking about a piece of art or a song that evokes that feeling for you.
So you're kind of priming her emotions.
You are.
Getting her in touch with that feeling.
And then you hit her with the question.
What makes your heart flutter?
Exactly.
I love it.
The buildup creates that anticipation,
Yeah.
that intimacy.
It becomes a shared exploration.
It does.
Yeah.
And the book gives a ton of other romantic question examples, like, what's your idea of a perfect vacation?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I like that.
What's your favorite moment in a kiss?
Okay, now we're getting into more intimate territory.
We are.
So gauging the situation is important. You wouldn't ask about favorite moments in a kiss on a first date,
Probably not.
unless maybe things are going really well.
Right.
But the book stresses that it's all about reading the signals,
Yeah.
choosing questions that feel appropriate.
For the level of connection you've established.
Well, the vibe.
On the vibe, exactly.
And it's not just about the words themselves.
Right.
It's about your nonverbal cues,
Your body language.
your body language,
Your eye contact.
your tone of voice.
All of it.
The book even suggests using a softer, more seductive tone of voice when asking these questions.
Ooh, creating that romantic ambiance.
Yes.
I like it.
It's about creating a space where those deeper emotions can flow more freely.
It's amazing how these small adjustments can shift the entire energy of an interaction.
It really is, and that kind of leads us into the next section of the book, which is all about transitioning from those romantic questions.
To actual romantic moves.
Yes.
Okay, this is where things get interesting.
It is, how do you go from creating that emotional connection to something more physical?
Right, there's that leap.
There is, and the book emphasizes the importance of confidence,
Of course.
but also playfulness.
You don't want to be too aggressive,
No,
but you don't want to be too timid either.
you've got to find that sweet spot,
That balance.
that balance.
Yeah.
And the book acknowledges that a lot of men sabotage themselves
How so?
by overthinking it,
Right.
worrying about rejection.
They psych themselves out.
They do before they even make a move
It's easy to get caught up in your head.
and miss the moment.
It's the moment, exactly.
So the book encourages men to just go for it.
Trust your instincts.
Trust your instincts.
And make a move when the moment feels right.
But how do you know when the moment is right?
That's the $1,000,000 question.
It is.
It all comes down to reading her cues.
Is she leaning in?
Is there a spark in her eyes?
Those are the green lights.
Yeah, you've got to be present
You do.
and in tune with her responses.
It's like a dance, really.
It is a dance.
You're responding to each other's signals.
Creating a shared experience.
It's not about following a script.
It's about being in the moment.
And the book wraps up this section by encouraging men to be persistent,
Okay.
but also respectful.
Of course.
If she's not interested,
Back off gracefully.
back off gracefully.
Yeah, no means no.
And it's important to honor her boundaries.
Absolutely, respect is paramount.
Always.
It's about treating her as an individual with her own agency and desires.
Not just an object of your affection.
Exactly.
But now things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
The book moves on to this concept of priming.
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 Okay.
It's about planting seeds in a woman's mind that make her more receptive to your advances.
So this is like subliminal messaging.
Not exactly.
Okay.
It's not about manipulation.
Okay.
It's about creating a context
Okay.
that makes her more open to the idea of romance with you.
So how do you prime a woman without being creepy or manipulative? Well, one technique is through storytelling.
Storytelling.
Yeah. You share anecdotes that subtly highlight your attractive qualities.
Like your sense of humor.
Your sense of humor.
Your adventurous spirit.
Your intelligence.
Yeah.
Your kindness.
It's about showcasing your personality.
Yes.
But in an authentic way.
In an authentic way.
Not bragging or trying to be someone you're not.
It's about letting her see the best version of you.
Exactly.
Another priming technique is through shared activities.
Ooh,
Doing something exciting or novel together.
creates a bond
It does. It can create a strong emotional bond.
and shift the dynamic
Yes.
in a romantic direction.
Think about it. You're both outside your comfort zones, sharing this unique experience.
Adrenaline's pumping.
Adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah.
It creates a sense of intimacy
And connection.
that you wouldn't get from just sitting across a table from each other at a coffee shop.
You're creating memories together.
You are. And those shared memories can be really powerful.
But the book emphasizes that it's all about being subtle and natural.
Right. You don't want to be too obvious.
No, you don't want to force it.
It's about creating a subtle undercurrent of romance
That draws her in
without feeling pressured.
without feeling manipulated.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance.
It is.
You want to be intentional, but not too obvious.
You want to create a spark without setting off any alarm bells.
Exactly.
And this is where timing comes in.
Timing is everything.
It is.
In dating and in life.
You don't want to start priming too early
Right before you've established a connection.
before you've built that rapport.
Exactly.
But you also don't want to wait too long.
And risk getting stuck in the friend zone.
The dreaded friend
We'll
zone.
get to that.
We will. But first, let's talk about,
The first kiss.
yes, the pivotal moment.
It is.
That first kiss can make or break a budding romance.
It can.
So how do we navigate this tricky terrain?
Well, the book emphasizes the importance of building up to the kiss,
Okay.
creating that anticipation, the sexual tension.
The sexual tension, you want her to be leaning in, eager for that connection.
So it's about creating that electric atmosphere.
Yes.
That sense that something's about to happen.
And you can use all those techniques we've already talked about.
The flirting.
The flirting,
The dukipani.
romantic questions.
The touch. Building up to that moment.
The book even suggests commenting on the energy between you.
Ooh, that's bold.
It is.
What kind of comment?
Like saying something like, I'm feeling a really strong connection with you right now.
Wow. That's putting it out there.
It is.
Yeah.
But if she responds positively,
It's a green light.
it's a green light.
Yeah.
She's feeling it too,
The kiss is probably welcome.
most likely.
Okay, so you've created the anticipation.
You have.
The tension is building.
How do you actually go in for the kiss?
Right. What's the move?
Well, the book gives you a couple of options. You can just lean in confidently and kiss her without saying anything.
Classic.
Classic move.
Yeah.
Or you could use what it calls the announcement method.
The announcement method.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more.
Basically, you say something like, don't panic, but I'm going to kiss you now.
I love that.
It's playful.
It's playful.
It's disarming.
It takes the pressure off.
It does.
It acknowledges the awkwardness.
And invites her to laugh along with you.
Exactly.
And the key, according to the book, is confidence and a sense of playfulness.
You don't want to be timid or hesitant.
No.
You want to make her feel desired.
You want to sweep her off her feet.
Swept off her feet. I like it.
But what if she resists the kiss?
Ah, that's the tough part.
It is rejection, even in the form of a deflected kiss, can be hard to handle.
It can bruise the ego.
So how do you navigate that situation?
Right. What's the playbook?
First and foremost, never pressure her
Never.
or try to force the kiss.
No means no.
If she pulls away, respect her boundaries.
You can back off gracefully.
Back off gracefully.
Yeah, you don't want to make her feel uncomfortable.
And the book suggests that you could acknowledge the resistance in a playful way,
Okay.
like saying something like, okay, I'll save that kiss for later.
So you're not letting it derail the entire interaction.
You're acknowledging the moment, but not letting it define the whole evening.
Exactly.
The book encourages men to view the first kiss as just one step in the seduction process.
Right. It's not the be-all and end-all.
If she doesn't kiss you this time, there's always next time.
It's a journey, not a destination.
And sometimes those unexpected detours can lead to even more fulfilling experiences.
I like that perspective.
But before we move on to those next steps,
Okay.
the book dives into a really important concept,
What's that?
dealing with what it calls safety questions.
Tasty questions
Yeah.
there.
These are the questions that women subconsciously ask themselves when interacting with a man.
Like what?
Is he safe? Can I trust him? Is he going to hurt me?
Those are fundamental questions.
They are.
Rooted in basic survival instincts.
Especially for women, who are often more vulnerable in social situations.
Sadly, that's true.
And the book explains that women are constantly assessing men.
On these subconscious levels.
Yes, and if a man triggers those safety alarms,
Game over.
the seduction is over before it even begins.
So it's not just about projecting confidence and charisma.
It's about creating a sense of safety and trust
Early on in the interaction.
early on.
So how do you do that?
Well, The book says it's all about being genuine,
Authentic?
respectful,
Considerate?
attentive to her cues,
Showing her through your words and actions.
that you're someone who can be trusted.
It's about aligning your inner and outer game.
Yes, you can't just fake trustworthiness
It has to come from a place of genuine respect.
and empathy.
Exactly.
The book also emphasizes the importance of eye contact.
Eye contact.
Eye
Oh,
contact.
it's just so
It can
basic.
communicate so much without words.
It can, but it has to be genuine.
It does.
Not creepy or staring.
Right. It's about holding her gaze in a way that feels comfortable,
Respectful. It's not intense.
not predatory.
Okay.
The book also suggests using open body language.
So don't cross your arms.
Don't cross your
I'm going to
arms.
turn away from her.
You want to appear open and approachable,
Welcoming.
welcoming, not closed off or defensive.
It's fascinating how much of attraction comes down to these subtle, nonverbal cues.
It really is. And then the book talks about the importance of being a good listener.
Oh, that's huge.
The book says that women are incredibly attuned to how well a man listens
Yeah, if they sense that he's not really present,
or interested.
they'll shut down.
They'll close off.
Active listening is so crucial.
It is.
In any interaction.
In any interaction, but especially when you're trying to build a connection with someone.
Especially then.
So how can we be better listeners?
Well, the book suggests asking follow-up questions.
Showing that you're paying attention
That you're engaged with what she's saying.
and avoid interrupting
Yeah.
or trying to dominate the conversation.
But let her speak.
Let her speak and really listen to what she's sharing.
It's about creating a space for her to feel heard,
And understood.
which is ultimately what we all crave.
In relationship.
In relationships, exactly.
And speaking of relationships, the book then introduces this concept of pre-seduction.
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 Okay, this sounds interesting.
It's about using email and phone conversations to further deepen the connection
Before you even go on a date.
before you even go on a date.
Interesting.
Yeah, it seems a bit counterintuitive in this age of instant messaging and social media.
It does.
But the book makes a compelling case for it.
I'm listening.
It's about leveraging those communication channels to build rapport and romantic tension.
Okay, so you're extending the seduction process beyond face-to-face interactions.
You're creating a sense of anticipation
And excitement.
before you even meet up.
I like it.
So the book suggests using email
Okay.
to share interesting articles or stories that relate to things you've talked about in person.
So you're staying top of mind.
You're
Keeping the conversation flowing.
You're showing her that you're thinking about her.
And that you're genuinely interested in what she has to say.
And then it suggests using the phone to flirt and deepen the connection.
The phone.
The phone.
Old school.
It is old school.
But it can be so effective.
It can.
That's right.
So what's the right way to use the phone for pre-seduction?
Well, the book suggests asking her thought-provoking questions,
Sharing personal anecdotes.
flirting,
Right.
creating those moments of intimacy and vulnerability.
Even when you're not physically together.
Exactly. You're building that emotional connection.
And you can even incorporate some of those romantic questions into your phone conversations.
Oh, I like that.
But the book emphasizes the importance of keeping those phone conversations relatively short
Right.
and sweet.
You don't want to overwhelm her
You don't
or give her too much too soon.
leave her wanting more.
Exactly. Build the anticipation for that next interaction.
But what about those times when she doesn't return your calls?
The dreaded unanswered call.
The unanswered call.
A universal dating challenge.
It's a confidence killer.
It can be.
So how do we handle that situation?
Right, because it's so easy to spiral
It is.
when you don't hear back.
Your mind starts racing.
You start questioning everything.
You do.
Did I say something wrong?
Did I do something wrong?
Did I come on too strong?
Am I not good enough?
All those negative thoughts.
So what's the antidote to that?
Well, the book cautions against reading too much into it.
Okay.
There could be a million reasons why she's not calling back.
Maybe she's busy.
Maybe she lost her phone.
Maybe she's out of town.
Exactly. The point is, don't jump to conclusions.
Or take it personally.
Don't let those unanswered calls derail your confidence.
Solid advice.
So what do you do?
Well, the book suggests sending a playful text message
Okay,
or leaving a lighthearted voicemail.
just checking in.
Just checking in
Letting her know you're thinking of her.
without coming across as needy or desperate.
Exactly. You're keeping the lines of communication open.
But if she continues to ignore you,
It's time to move on.
time to move on.
You deserve someone who's reciprocating your interest.
Absolutely. But let's say she is interested
Okay.
and you're ready to set up a date night.
Here we go.
The book has some really interesting advice about using email for date setting.
Email.
Email.
I would think texting would be the go-to these days.
You'd think so.
Oh,
But the book makes a case for email.
okay.
It says it allows you to craft a more thoughtful message.
More space to express yourself.
Exactly. And it gives her time to consider your proposition without feeling pressured.
I could see that.
So how do you use email effectively for date setting?
Right. What's the strategy?
Well, the book suggests starting the email by referencing something you talked about in person.
Creating that sense of continuity.
Yes, reminding her of those shared moments and conversations.
I like it.
Then it suggests proposing a specific date and time,
Okay.
making it clear that you're serious about getting together,
Showing initiative.
showing initiative.
Making it easy for her to say yes.
And the book even suggests including a few options for the date.
Ooh, that's smart.
It gives her a sense of choice and control.
She feels like she's part of the process.
Exactly.
Instead of just being told what to do.
And of course, end the email on a playful and positive note.
Always leave them wanting more.
Right. Something like, I'm really looking forward to seeing you again. I think we're going to have a great time.
Creating that anticipation.
Building momentum towards that next interaction.
Okay, so you've set the date.
We've set the date.
But what about that dreaded friend zone?
Oh, yes, the friend zone.
So many men find themselves stuck there,
They do.
wondering how to escape
How to shift that dynamic.
from buddy to potential lover.
Right. And the book offers some surprisingly straightforward advice.
Okay, I'm all ears.
It starts with the premise that you need to change your behavior if you want her to see you differently.
So it's not just about saying the right things.
It's about how you act.
You need to stop behaving like just a friend.
Exactly. The book suggests reducing contact,
Okay.
creating a sense of scarcity.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder,
It does.
or at least curious.
And stop being so available to her.
Okay.
Project a sense of busyness and an active social life.
You're not waiting around for her call.
You're not.
You've got your own thing going on.
Exactly.
Creates that sense of mystery.
It does.
Makes her wonder what you're up to.
Scarcity can be a powerful aphrodisiac.
It can.
The book even suggests flirting with other women in front of her.
Ooh, that's bold.
It is, but it's a subtle way to demonstrate that you're not just fixated on her.
It creates a sense of healthy competition
Reminds her that you're a catch.
and that other women find you attractive.
And most importantly, be more direct and assertive with your romantic intentions.
So no more mixed signals.
No more mixed signals.
You're being clear about what you want.
You want
Communicating your desires confidently.
but respectfully.
Of course, respect is always key.
Always.
It's about owning your feelings and allowing yourself to be vulnerable.
And you can use some of those techniques we've talked about earlier.
The flirting.
The flirting,
Deepening.
the romantic questions, the physical touch,
Shifting the dynamic.
showing her that you see her as more than just a friend.
It's about having the courage to step outside that comfortable friend role.
And take a chance on something more.
You never know what could happen.
You never know unless you try.
I like that.
This section really emphasizes the importance of clarity of intentions and actions.
Be direct and honest about your feelings.
It's so much less complicated than playing games
It is.
or sending mixed signals.
And remember, rejection is always a possibility.
It is.
But it's better to know where you stand.
Than to be stuck in a situation that's not fulfilling.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes this book so refreshing.
What do you mean?
It's about empowering men to take control of their dating lives,
Okay.
to be proactive and assertive,
But also respectful.
while still being respectful and considerate.
It's about finding that balance.
Balance.
Between confidence and sensitivity.
Yes.
Between pursuing what you want and respecting the other person's choices.
And that's a valuable lesson.
Not just for dating,
Not just for dating,
but for all relationships.
but we've covered a lot of ground in this segment.
We have.
I think it's time to move on to the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, I'm ready.
In the next segment, we'll explore some of the book's more advanced techniques.
Advanced techniques.
Advanced techniques
Ooh, this is getting good.
for building sexual tension and escalating intimacy.
Sounds intriguing.
Let's dive into those advanced strategies.
I'm ready.
Okay, so we're in the final stretch of our deep dive into how to talk to women, and this is where things get really juicy.
I'm ready. Bring on the juicy stuff.
We're about to explore some of the book's more advanced techniques for building that sexual tension and escalating intimacy.
Okay, so we're going beyond the basics.
We're going deeper. This section is called Advanced Deepening, and it's all about taking those conversations to a more intimate, a more vulnerable level.
So we're talking about real connection here.
Real
Yeah,
connection.
really.
And the book emphasizes that this stage is all about creating a safe space for genuine sharing.
You've got to have that foundation of trust.
You do. You can't just jump into these deep conversations with someone you just met.
It takes time to build that rapport.
It does, and it takes a
Yeah.
willingness to be vulnerable.
To let your guard down.
Exactly. And one of the techniques the book suggests is called reciprocal sharing.
Reciprocal sharing. Okay.
So basically, if she shares something personal with you, you reciprocate by sharing something equally personal in return.
So you're matching her level of vulnerability.
You're building that emotional bridge between you.
Brick by a vulnerable brick.
I love that analogy.
And it's not about trying to one-up each other with your stories.
No, it's not a competition.
Right.
It's about finding that common ground.
Connecting on a deeper level.
We all have our scars, our triumphs, our heartbreaks,
Our
baggage.
Sharing those experiences can be incredibly bonding.
It can, especially when you feel safe and understood.
It takes courage to be that vulnerable.
It does, but the rewards can be so worth it.
And the book also suggests this technique called emotional leading,
Emotional leading, okay.
which is about subtly guiding the conversation towards topics that evoke stronger emotions.
So you're steering the conversation into more emotionally charged territory.
What kind of topics are we talking about here?
Well, the book gives examples like childhood dreams, aspirations, even past heartbreaks.
Those are definitely topics that can get people talking.
They can, and they can elicit strong emotional responses.
And by sharing your own vulnerabilities in these areas.
You create a space for her to do the same.
Exactly.
It deepens the connection and builds intimacy.
But it's crucial to be authentic.
Always.
Don't make up stories just to impress her.
No, be genuine, be real.
Because women can sense inauthenticity a mile away.
They can so be yourself, be vulnerable, and let her see the real you.
That's where true connection lies.
And from those deep emotional connections, the book then transitions into a discussion about building sexual tension.
Ah, yes, the sexual tension.
That electric energy that crackles between two people who are attracted to each other.
How do we cultivate that?
Well, the book cautions against being too overt or aggressive with your advances.
Right, you don't want to scare her off.
It's about subtlety,
Suggests
creating that spark without being pushy or disrespectful.
You've got to find that balance.
So what are some of the techniques for building sexual tension?
Well, the book emphasizes the importance of eye contact,
Eye contact always.
touch,
Touch.
and even your voice.
Your voice can be so seductive
Bien is.
when used correctly.
So how do you use your voice to build tension?
Well, the book suggests lowering your tone, speaking a little more slowly.
Creating that sense of intimacy.
Exactly. And you can even lean in a little closer when you're talking.
So you're invading her personal space just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Enough to create that tension.
And don't forget about physical touch.
Right touch is so important.
It is. The book suggests holding her gaze for a beat longer than usual,
Okay.
letting your eyes linger on her lips,
Ooh, that's good.
or even brushing your hand against hers accidentally.
Those little accidental touches can be so electric.
They can.
And the book also talks about the power of teasing and playful banter.
Oh yeah, keeping it light and fun.
That push and pull dynamic can be so flirtatious.
And for those who are feeling really bold, the book even suggests incorporating some light role-playing into your interactions.
Role play.
Role-playing.
Okay, now we're talking.
It can be fun, but the key is to keep it playful and lighthearted.
So what kind of role playing are we talking about here?
Well, the book suggests creating scenarios where you pretend to be a couple,
Okay.
or even playfully teasing her about being bad or naughty.
So you're injecting some fantasy and excitement into the interaction.
Exactly. And it's all about having fun and creating that playful, seductive vibe.
But if it feels forced or uncomfortable, it's not going to work.
It's got to feel natural.
You've got to be in tune with each other's energy, finding that sweet spot where you're both enjoying the game.
But eventually the game has to end, right?
Right. You've built rapport. You've created sexual tension.
Now it's time to move things forward.
The book calls this section Moving Things Forward.
And it's all about transitioning from that initial connection
To a more intimate.
to a more committed relationship.
And the stage is all about being clear and assertive with your intentions.
While still being respectful of her boundaries.
So how do you strike that balance?
Well, the book suggests using all the techniques we've already discussed.
The flirting.
The flirting,
deep
the romantic questions, the escalating physical touch,
building on that foundation.
building on that
And
foundation.
taking things to the next level.
The book even suggests being direct about your desire to see her again.
Like what? What would you say?
Something like, I'd really love to take you out sometime.
Simple and to the point.
Simple and to the point.
Putting yourself out there.
Taking that leap of faith.
And if she's receptive,
Take the lead. Make concrete plans for a date.
show her you're serious.
But there are no guarantees in love.
That's true.
You can do everything right and still face rejection.
It's part of the game.
It is.
So don't take it too seriously.
Don't get discouraged.
Have fun. Enjoy the process.
And keep your heart open to new possibilities.
I like that.
The book wraps up by emphasizing that seduction is an art,
Not a science.
not a science.
There's no guaranteed formula for success.
And every woman is different.
So be adaptable.
Be adaptable. Read the cues.
Adjust your approach accordingly.
Be confident. Be playful. Be respectful.
And most importantly, have fun.
Enjoy the journey.
Well, this deep dive into how to talk to women has been incredibly insightful.
It has.
It's clear that this book offers a unique and practical approach to navigating the world of dating.
And attraction. We've covered so much ground.
We have from those initial highs,
To creating that electric sexual tension.
navigating the friend zone.
And ultimately moving things towards a more meaningful connection.
It's a reminder that successful dating isn't about tricks or manipulation.
It's about genuine connection.
Honest communication.
And treating women with respect.
Beautifully said.
So to all you listeners out there, as you continue your own adventures in the world of dating, remember the key takeaways from our deep dive.
Be confident.
Be curious.
Playful.
And most importantly, be yourself.
And don't be afraid to ask those romantic questions.
They might just unlock a whole new level of connection.
Until next time.
Happy dating.